Hello, and welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today we're going to be messing with my Honda Civic. This is was a B20 VTEC Turbo. Now we switched it to a hacked together GSR bottom end with a bunch of reused parts that I had. We had the wrong bearings, we had the wrong rings, we had the wrong fucking everything on this thing. And we had a bunch of issues with the car. I don't remember exactly what I updated you guys on last, but the car, pretty much, I assembled everything and it had really low compression. So, kind of figured it was the piston rings. So I went and installed new piston rings from a subscriber of mine, Trey. He actually sent over a set of new piston rings. We tried the piston rings and the car still had low compression. So we proceeded to do a leak down test. I figured it was the piston rings because we literally used hacked piston rings. Like, the rings were out of a totally different setup of piston, totally different bore size and everything, and I ground them down to fit. And whatever. So Trey sent me the proper piston rings. I threw those in, and believe it or not, the compression actually got a little bit lower. So the compression was even lower with the new rings, probably because they weren't seated in or worn in or whatever. But so I put the piston rings in from Trey. I put the new rings in, and it still had low compression, so we did a leak down test, and I found out that the exhaust valves, every single exhaust valve on the cylinder head was leaking. So before I even tore down my B20 VTEC, I actually started developing some stuttering issues, and I don't know if that has anything to do with the issues that I was having with the head. I'm kind of thinking it was something to do with that. Because I was like, maybe it's the injectors, but I really believe in Snake Eater Performance fuel injectors. I run them on my Mustang, and the thing runs super buttery smooth at a 2200cc injector. So I didn't want to blame the injector, and now I have something else to blame. It was my damn cylinder head. So now we got everything back together on the car, and it's funny because I put compression test on it after I got the head redone. We ground the valves, relapped them, reseated it, and now we had no leak down on the cylinder head. And I went to go put a compression tester on it last night, and I literally was about to pull my hair out. I was pissed because I was like, this fucking thing still ain't got no damn compression. Like, in any cylinder it had zero. And I'm like, okay, and I started looking at crank keys. I took the fucking cams. I took the cam gears off because I was like, maybe the cam gears, the keyway broke and the timing is just way off. Because that's really the only other thing that could be an issue, really, is if the cam or the timing was way off, that it would have no compression or something. So I had the crank pulley off. I was checking all the frickin' clearances. I was making sure, like, the GSR crank gear wasn't pinned differently. The keyway was the same as like a B20 or a B16, and they're all the same. I figured that out because I had a bunch of extra crank gears. I checked all that. The timing was all good. And then I was like, dude, there's no fucking reason why this thing shouldn't have compression. So we put the head back on again for the 5th time on this head gasket. And then proceeded to do the leak down test again, and it passed. Besides this cylinder over here, the intake valve was leaking just a little bit, but all these valves were reused. We just ground the shit out of them to make them seal half-assed because I didn't really want to spend a whole lot of money on getting this thing back together. So anyways, we got the cylinder head back on, and it passed the leak down test, and it wasn't coming out of the oil, so the rings were sealing, and it wasn't coming out of the valves, so the valves were sealing. And I'm like, there's no reason it shouldn't have compression unless the timing is fucked up. So we put the compression tester on, and it had 0 pounds of compression, and I literally I was gonna go get I was gonna like make a homemade pressure tester for the head to like make sure it wasn't cracked or something. I was pulling my hair out at this point, guys. So what I did is I found out that my fucking Harbor Freight compression tester, I dropped it a couple days ago, and the needle on the compression gauge, I actually posted on my Facebook page that the compression needle was actually stuck under the stopper for 0, so it wasn't able to move. So this whole fucking time I've been trying to like chase down a no compression issue, and it's been the damn gauge the whole time. It wasn't the gauge the whole time. This thing did have issues, don't get me wrong. It's just last night the gauge was having issues, and I had the head off 2 different times. yeah. So anyways, I got a bunch of stuff done on the car today, and my microphone was having issues, so I lost my intro. This is actually after the video was made that I'm filming this, because when I was filming the intro, my microphone got unplugged. So yeah, so this is the video, guys. We got the GSR up and running. We stopped out at the storage unit and played with the Mustang a little bit, because I haven't fired that thing up in a while. And then we proceeded to do an oil change and an oil flush on this GSR motor with these damn reused bearings and all that shit. So enjoy. Alright guys, so took a little break from the Honda. It's actually at home draining the oil out of it right now. I'm just kind of draining the oil out of the Civic so I can put fresh stuff in. And I came out here because I came out to the storage unit out here where the Mustang is, because I was going to grab my transmission tractor oil stuff that I had for the Mustang, and I'm going to actually kind of flush out the oil on the Honda with it. I figured it'd kind of be a good idea with how much fuel and shit was in the oil previously on the kind of initial cranking bullshit when the head was all messed up. I feel like it'd be a good idea to kind of flush out the oil system on that thing. So I came out here to grab that because I had some out here. And while I was out here, I was actually out here the other day, and I could not get the Mustang to start to save my life. So it is super cold here, obviously, in Wisconsin. The Mustang has 2200cc injectors, and it is on E85 fuel. So it is a little bit tricky to get it to cold start. I came out here to kind of mess with the MS3 Gold box, because I want to drive this thing soon and kind of get it ready for ice racing, because I want to take this car out and ice race it. So I wanted to make sure the thing was still good and running and stuff, and I wanted to make sure like I didn't crack a piston or anything on this thing, because when we went out the last drag day, we went out and clicked off a couple 9-second passes with it at like nearly 145 mile an hour. And I noticed that I had a little bit of oil kind of developing on the back side of the valve cover back here. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't hurt a piston or anything like that. But honestly, with this giant turbo and, you know, 20 pounds of boost, and no catch can, the oil did have to come out of somewhere, because when you're running that kind of boost and horsepower, it's going to naturally develop a little bit of blow-by. So I want to get a catch can on this thing of some sort. I think I'm going to get a -10 bung off of the engine cap, or the oil cap right here, and then for the other side I'm just going to put a -10 right where the PCV is back here. So I think I'm going to take these valve covers off, drill and tap a -10 into them, and then get a catch can somewhere from somebody. Might have to hit up Eric Orange Built. I know that he made me a couple awesome catch cans, so I may have to pick up a catch can from him, something that we can get set up for this thing. But anyways, I was out here trying to mess with the Mega Squirt, because this thing has a MS3 Gold box, if you guys don't know. And I was just trying to mess with, like, you know, the cranking cold start stuff. So like the cranking fuel, the priming pulse, the cranking pulse, and no matter what I was doing with it, I could not get this thing to bark off at all. Like, it literally wouldn't even pop. It wouldn't pop or nothing. So I'm like, fuck it. I felt like a goddamn Pro Mod dragster fucking top fuel fucking nitro methanol bullshit fucker, and I primed this damn thing with some brake cleaner. So I just took the coupler off of the throttle body here, and I just shoved the brake cleaner nozzle into the throttle body. I held it wide open and sprayed a bunch of brake cleaner in the intake, and it fired off like immediately, and then it died. So I sprayed a little bit more, and then the second try it was stumbling like I just fucking spit everywhere. It was like the second time it was like pop 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 pop, and then it was good, and then it started running fine. I think these injectors and the coldness and the whatever, you know, it just is cold, and you know, it took a little bit of fire underneath her ass to get her moving. But once she's lit, she's good. So yeah, obviously once it was running for a minute or two, and it seems to be good now. So I'm just gonna give it one more kind of startup, make sure this thing fires back up, and you know, if I can't figure out anything with the gold box, you know, trying to get this thing to crank over worth a shit, I might have to just bring a can of brake cleaner with me everywhere I go, which is fine. I don't know, it's just kind of ghetto. It did start totally fine when it was like 50 degrees out, 40 degrees out, but when it's 20, 10, 0 outside, it might be a little bit cold, so, or it might be a little bit tough to get her to go. But man, I love this car, guys. I seriously love this car. I mean, we put the 10-point cage in it. We put a homemade dash in it with all these gauges. You know, it's got a turbo 400, tranny brake 4.8. Like, it's fucking perfect combo. Let's see how she fires up after she's a little warm. Oh, like fucking butter. Alright, Mustang, go back to sleep. Alright, sweet! That's awesome. I'm gonna make sure that I save all this stuff, so it's telling me like I made changes and I didn't save them to the controller, so I'm just gonna burn. Yes. I'm just gonna burn the shit to the thing. We're good to go. I actually had to richen up the VE table. It was so lean that it was like backfiring out of the intake. So I added like 20% of fuel into the VE table, and she seems like she's good now, so that's pretty neat. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to come out here and get that bottle of that jug of transmission tractor oil that I had, because honestly, tranny fluid or hydraulic oil works really good for you know, flushing motors out, flushing like doing an engine flush. I always use tranny fluid and it works really good, especially the transmission hydraulic oil. That stuff works really good. I want to give you guys an update on this thing here pretty soon too, but you know, whatever, we will soon. I gotta get some tires for this damn car. This is my WRX. I don't even know if you can see anything. Can you guys see anything? This is my WRX. There she is. You probably can't see shit, but it's alright. So, ooh, maybe you can now that the light's a little brighter. No? Still nothing? Still nothing? I'm in love with this fucking light, guys. I've just been playing around with this light so much. But anyways, we're gonna turn the kill switch off here on the Mustang. Make sure this thing goes to sleep. Also, I wanted to charge a battery up on this thing because it's a super nice excess power battery, and I don't feel like having that thing go dead on me. So I wanted to just get some juice flowing through it a little bit. Kind of want to come out here every week or two and start this thing up and make sure she's going to be dialed. But anyways, got the tranny fluid. I'm going to grab some other things that I need. I got all my shit out here for the CRX too, so like I have extra doors that came with that car, extra bumpers, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's pretty neat, sweet. Got my studded tires over here. We're gonna have to pump these things up and get some use out of them here pretty soon. Look at that, one of these fuckers is still hard. That Flex Seal did a pretty good job. I might redo some of them, but yeah. So anyways, I'm out of here, and we'll pick back up when we get to the house. All right, so we are back at the house now, and I got the Civic jacked up in the air. I had the engine oil draining out of it the whole time that I was gone out at the storage unit, and I ran to Walmart and grabbed a couple cheap oil filters. I grabbed 2 of them, and then I grabbed some new engine oil as well to kind of put in this thing after I flush it out. I think this would actually be a really good idea to do on any new engine. Especially this one because it's kind of a pile of shit that I just hacked together. But I think doing this even on like a race engine would be a good idea, because you're always going to have like the initial wear of the bearings and the initial wear of the rings and everything like that when you do this kind of thing. And transmission fluid specifically will bind to like dirt, debris, and metal and stuff like that, and it'll kind of attach to the fluid. And then when you drain the shit out of there, hopefully all that metal shavings and all that kind of stuff will get drained out with it. So, and honestly, transmission fluid is not that expensive. I bought this 2-gallon jug of heavy-duty tractor transmission hydraulic oil at Walmart for $20, and I changed the transmission fluid in my Mustang with it, and the Mustang works better now with that fluid in there. And yeah, so it's really not too bad of a deal. You could flush 2 engines with one of those jugs. You could probably do 3 of them, honestly. I just put 4 quarts in this thing. It's a little bit low on the dipstick, but we're only going to run it for a couple minutes. Then I'm going to drain it out and put some new stuff in. So yeah, let's get right to it. I already got the new filter on, and I already got the fluid in. So all that's left to do now is to fire this thing up. I got to get a battery for this thing too, because the battery, I have a battery in here from my sister's truck. My sister's truck's battery went out, and I used it, and I thought I could charge it and have a good battery to use, but that battery's toast. I have 2 batteries over here that are toast. So yeah, I gotta buck up and get a battery, or I might put one of these shitty batteries in the CRX, because that's just a little single cam, and then put the good battery from the CRX into this. That might work good. We'll see. But yeah, so this thing's hit and miss whether or not I have to use the battery charger. So we'll see if she fires up or not without the battery charger. I gotta get some fuel in this thing too. It's a little low. You can hear it kind of cry when I first kick the key over. Hey, look at that, Poppy. She started. She's got no leaks. Looks good to me. So I'll just warm up the engine, and then once it's warm, I'll drain all that shit right back out of it. But yeah, if you guys can hear or not, it does crank really slow. It's like Alright guys, so I actually am going to be driving the car now. I'm going to go take it around the block, go get some gas in it, and we'll see how it's running. I got my laptop with me just in case anything on the tune needs to be adjusted. And yeah, we're going to see how she does. It is leaking a little bit of oil out of the cylinder head. I don't know if it's leaking out of the head gasket or if it's leaking out of the... I have a exhaust manifold bolt that leaks oil. So... I think it's coming from there. I'm not 100% sure. I might show you guys when I get back, but did want to show you this new suction cup thing that I got. This is the suction cup that a subscriber actually sent to me. This thing is super sweet, dude. Thank you again very much for sending this over to me. It's a very useful tool, and I finally am going to get to try it out today. But you can literally like maneuver this thing like whichever way you freaking want, you know? So that is really cool. I'm going to set that thing up, and we'll go for a drive. We're out driving the hatch right now. I just stopped and got gas, so I filled up the tank with E85, and fucking battery died. And like the battery's got enough in it if the tune is perfect, like the cold start tune or the starting, you know, cranking bullshit is good, then it, you know, will fire. But the cranking shit on the tune, like I can't get it, I can't figure it out. It's pissing me off because I really just want this thing to turn the key and fire up. Like, I'm sick of debating or, you know, being worried if it's going to start or not. So, but once it's running, it runs perfectly fine. But yeah, so I'm going to get out here and maybe get into boost a little bit. I kind of played with it on the way to the gas station, and the tune is definitely way rich. So I had to pull some fuel out of it. And I kind of guessed on the VTEC side where the fuel needed to be. So I'm going to try to just get into boost a little bit and see where it goes. You know, I'm going to watch the wideband, make sure everything's all right. And if I got to play with anything, I will. But other than that, it's driving really good. The only other thing too is these Speed Factory transmission detent springs or whatever that's in the tranny. I upgraded the springs for the shift forks, and I don't think I like them, honestly. They like, it's a bitch to get the thing out of gear. Like, going into gear feels nice, but if you want to come out of a gear, you really gotta like push it. You gotta like kind of push it kind of hard to get it out of gear. But I don't know, we'll see how they are after a couple days of driving it. But well, I fucking blew the tires off right there. So that's a good sign. I don't know how much boost that was. Yeah, VTEC's a little lean. I gotta put some fuel in it. It's like 13.0. Go to the high-speed ignition, or high-speed fuel, and I'm going to chuck like 10% in it, and I'm going to pull 10% out of the low cam because it's kind of rich coming into it, and then when it cracks VTEC, it goes lean. So we're going to do what we got to do here. We'll try 5% out of the low cam to start. Upload that bitch. There we go. There we go. There we go. It was like 1180, 1170. I can usually get these Hondas pretty dialed in pretty quick. I've done enough of them where I kind of know what they like. That sounded really good, guys. I'm stoked. Pressure the whole time, so that's a good sign. All right, I'm getting too anxious. I gotta fucking try a 2-3 shift. Came right back down to idle. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. America. tune definitely needs a little bit of work. It's only on 5 pounds of boost. 5 pounds, it feels just like the B20 VTEC. Maybe a little bit slower, but not that noticeable. I made up for it with the compression of the pistons. So, yeah. Yeah, I definitely there's a couple of rich spots in the tune still that I gotta fuck with. But oil pressure looks amazing. Cruising right now, it's at 55 PSI, and I've probably been driving the car for about 20 minutes now. The only other thing I did notice is that oil leak, but yeah, we'll pick up when we get back home, guys. All right, guys, so we are back at the house now, and car's running really good. I'm actually very surprised that this thing's running good. The blow-by that it does have, if it has that much, it really doesn't have that much, because if it did, I would notice it in the car when I'm driving, and I don't. There's holes all over this fucking firewall, and that catch can, like, smokes when it's cold mainly, but, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm just gonna run it. I'm just gonna run it. I think it'll be fine. I really do. I think it's gonna be fine. I may switch this cylinder head for a different one. I actually have a subscriber that might be sending me a cylinder head. I don't know. Hopefully I can get that thing from him, because, like I said, this head literally has. I don't even know if I'll try to turn the light on here so you can see, but it's leaking all down the block here, and it leaks down in front of the motor because this bolt right here got so stripped out that I think it's stripped into the cylinder head and it leaks oil out of the bolt hole. I'm not 100% sure, or maybe it leaks out of this one too, but there's like oil that's pooled up in this area and then it drips down the block. So that, I don't know if that's head gasket or if it's the bolt hole, but it's leaking on top of the manifold here, so I'm pretty sure it's this bolt hole. What I did previously to fix that issue on this cylinder head is I put RTV on the bolt, and I did not do that on this one. I just put thread tape on it, and that didn't work as good. So I might just go get some like high temp RTV and put it all in the bolt, and then put the bolt back in. Maybe that'll work. I hope it works, and then maybe that leak will be fixed. Because if I could keep this head on this car, I would prefer that, so I could have another head to maybe do the CRX, to do a build for that, like a B20 VTEC or something, because I have all the shit to do it. But yeah, guys, other than that, we don't have any leaking coming from the cam seals, which is really cool. We don't have any leaking from the oil pan. I was under there earlier. This thing fucking amazes me. I miss Hondas so much, guys. They're so fun. But yeah, it's only on a couple pounds of boost. Nothing in the overflow. It's only on 5 pounds of boost, 4 pounds, something like that. That's what the wastegate is. But there's nothing blowing into the overflow after I fucking used this head gasket 5 times. Just torquing it, but still. The head gasket seems to be working good. It's holding good coolant pressure. It's got good heat. Yeah. The hatch is running, guys. I'm super happy. The transmission shifting thing I might go over in a separate video because a lot of people were curious about it. But it does seem a little bit notchier. I think I'm going to get used to it. I think I'll like it. We'll see. I got to set the ignition timing yet. I just kind of set it in the center and went out there with a conservative tune-up just to kind of try it out on a couple pounds of boost, and it seems like it's going to rip. This thing's going to fucking send it. This thing is going to rip. It's going to rip. I already know it. I'm so happy. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. A couple pounds of boost will break in these ground down engine bearings. It's got fucking 80 pounds of oil pressure at 4,500 RPM after running it for a long time with only 530 in it. Half the time I can't get that good of oil pressure unless I have 2050 in it. But this thing's got 530 for engine oil. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm fucking stoked. If it's got a little bit of blow-by, fucking blow me, bitch. I don't care. Like I said, the only reason it's going to have blow-by is because of that fucking one cylinder, man. That one cylinder, the wrist pin backed out into it, but shit. A little bit of blow-by might keep this thing together a little bit longer. Honestly, I betcha if this thing works at all, it's going to work way too damn good, and it's going to make way too much power on ground-down engine bearings and reused junk pistons. Reused head gasket. Okay, I'm done. Have a great day, guys. leave a like for this video because I'm stoked as fuck. This thing's running awesome. Yeah. Subscribe if you guys want to. We actually almost hit 1 million views on the channel, so that's pretty cool. 1 million views. Yeah. I feel like I was going to say something, but I forgot. But this thing's running really good. I'm super happy. But thanks for watching, guys, and we will catch you in the next one. Subscribe for more content. Get me to 10,000, and then, yeah. Check out my website, huntertune.com, for buying these awesome VS Racing turbos. This thing's been a fucking beast. Super awesome turbo. I got flex fuel decaps in it right now. These are actually a little bit bigger than the normal flex fuel decaps. I don't know what these are out of. I got to figure that out because these things flow like 15 or 1600 cc, which is dialed. Okay, I'm done ranting. Goodbye. Have a great day. Have a better fucking tomorrow, and we'll see you later, alligator.